Hello everyone, my name is Vaibhavi Chetyar and I'm working with Yaska Learning. So today the topic that we are going to discuss is file handling using Python. So first I'll explain you what is file handling. So basically file handling is storing the data in a file using a program. As here is written, file is a named location on the system storage, that is in your desktop or in a computer where you save your data, which can record data for later access. So sometimes it's not necessary that some files stay permanently in your application. So if you save in your desktop is permanent until or unless you delete it. So you can save in your desktop and then you can access this data later on using the Python. Using Python code, little bit code, you can access your whole file and you can see what are the text in it. So what it does, it allows user to do read and write operation programmatically. From your Python code, you can read or write the file. As I mentioned you, it allows user to read, write, as well as it allows you to create, append, and many more operations to be done. So we'll do it this in the further. So here you have an exercise as now explained you what is file handling. Think of some of the examples that you find that where file needs to be read programmatically. Where do you feel that it is necessary that file should be read programmatically using Python? So think of that. Now I'll explain you what is file handler. So file, as I explained you, can be written or updated by a handler. So handler is something who is process or processes or sends the request. For sometimes the user sends the request to the handler. Handler sends the response back to the user. So it's basically in simple terms is same as your bicycle handle. It controls the direction of your cycle. So it is the main who does all these processes. Okay, what are the steps you need to do or in Python? So first is open a file that returns a file handle. File handle, that is your object name that you'll give it. Next, use that handle to read or write action in order to read your content or in order to write something extra or you want to add an additional information, you have to use that file object. Next, lastly is that close that file once you're done with your program. So in the coding part, how you have to do it looks like this. First is open a file that retains a file handle. That is F is equals to open file and R. Next is use that handle to do read or write action. This is your file object, that is your F. So using F dot, you write the method name, that is read line. So whatever you have in your text, the first line it will reiterate and give you the output. Next, that is F, that is your file object, dot close method in order to close your file. Now, what does the open function does? The open function basically takes two parameters. First is your file name, that is your text file name, and the mode which will mention it. So in the file handling, you have four different methods. First is your read mode, W is for your write mode, A is your append mode, and X is your create mode. So you must be clear from now that you have four different methods, four different modes for opening a file. Okay, this is your function, that is F. As I mentioned, it is a handler, it is your file object. Equals to, you have to give the method name, that is open. Inside that, you have to pass two parameters. First will always be your text file, that is file, comma, you write the mode whichever you want to do it. Sometimes you want to read the text file, so you put write. If you want to write something, you can put write, that is your W mode. Okay, so that's how it is done. Now here we have one exercise. It's written, create a file demo file.txt in correct directory. Make sure your file match is correct. Okay. So first they have written, write this poem in the demo file.txt. So first we have to make a file name, that is text file name, demo file. We'll write the whole poem and then we'll see to it. So for this, here I'm using a PyCharm editor. Okay, so PyCharm application. So whenever you go there, create a new project. Okay, so I have given untitled, not an issue. If you want to give a name, give a name. So it will take time to load all these packages, modules. So once you are done, okay, close this. Okay, fine. So the first thing they have told you is to make a text file. So when you go here, right click, new file. So you create that, give a name as it's written, demo file. When you enter, okay, here you get your text file. So here you write the poem. I'm writing Johnny, Johnny is Papa, eating sugar, no Papa, telling lies, no Papa, open your mouth, here is ha ha ha. Okay, so I have written a file name, that is, I have written the whole poem. Now, this is what you're just simply your text file. Now, how to access using the Python coding? So first go here, right click, you'll get new, create a Python file. So right here, just a name, I'll give demo. Okay, now you got demo.py. So the first thing, as we saw in the presentation, you have to first write a file object name. So I'm giving it as F, or you can give it as file. Your wish, whatever name you want to give it. So the next I write open. Then as you saw, you have to give two parameters. First is your text file. So I write demo file. Next, I write what is my mode. So I just want to read it. Once I'm done with this, I'm writing print and I want to file dot please read it. This is my method of reading it. So we'll run the project. Okay, now as you can see in the console, we got whole text and it got it in the output in the console part, the whole thing what we have written in the demo text. So this is how you read it. It was just a 2 line of code in your Python and you got your answer. Okay, so hopefully you'll be clear how to do that. Okay, so this we did the same way. If we gave a file object, our name was file. So here they have taken it just F. Then we did it print F dot read. Okay, now the next, sometimes is specific that you want this many characters to only to be displayed. So if you want that, here in the example they have written return the first 5 characters. If you want to do it, you just have to insert the number, how many characters till you want it. So I'll show you how to do that. I'll just put here 5 and then I'll run it. Okay, now can you see there are only 5 letters which are displayed, that is JOHNN. So that is how you can do this way. Okay, so then next we have seen reading part of the file. Now the next is reading line of file. If you want to read the first line, you have the method read line. For read, we had the whole text. Inside the read, if you write the number, you read some part of your file. If you get read line, you'll get the first line. So we'll do that also. Here, instead of file, I'll delete that and I mention read line. Then we'll see by running. Okay. Make sure you write the name perfectly. Okay, now can you see here is written Johnny, Johnny, yes, Papa. That was the first line in our text file. So that's how you get it. The next is if you write it for 2 times, you'll be able to see the first line as well as the second line. So I'll show you that too. Write print file dot read line and will run it. Okay, can you see the 2 lines are displayed? Johnny, Johnny, yes, Papa, and eating sugar, no, Papa. So that's how you read the line. Okay, so we'll move further. Okay, now sometimes reading this whole part again and writing read line, read line, read line, you can abort this or you can just don't use this method. You can use the loop method. By using the loop, you don't have to write f dot read line. You just use a variable name, put in for loop, and you're ready to read the whole text. So it's written this way. For, this is my loop. X, this is my variable. In, what, that is my file. Print, my variable where whole file is. So when you just run it, you'll see the whole text is being displayed. So it's very easy. If you use loop, it's very convenient to do it in just 2 pieces of code. You don't know how many lines are there in your text file. So it would be very hard to get right, read line again. So it's easy that you just put a loop and 2 lines of code, you get the whole text. So that was to do using the loop method. Yeah, and make sure you always write f.close. That's a good practice to close the file. Okay, hopefully that you must be clear what are the steps that we have to do it. There are 3 steps. First, you open it using the 2 parameters. Next, you write f.read, that is the handle to read the content. The third, you close the file. Hope you're clear. Okay, now the next part is we're going to learn how to write to an existing file. Okay, so here we have 2 more. One is your A, that is your append, and next is your W, that is your write. Okay, so what does the append does? Append will append to the end of the file and write will overwrite any existing content. Okay, so basically you have some text and if you want to put an additional information to that file, so you must do append. If you have some text file, you want to erase all the things and you want to write something new to the same text file, then you write W. Okay, it will just overwrite your existing content in W. For append, it will add to your existing file. Okay. Okay, so we'll do that and then we'll see what it happens. First is your f.open demo file.r. This is your demo file. We just read it, print, I'll write file.read. Okay, yeah, this is done. Next is I write f.open. I create a new demo file. You can create using this or first you create it from here like go to new, write a file name that is demo file. You can do that, or else you can simply write here the mode that is W. Whatever you find you're comfortable, you can do that. Okay, I got a demo file too. So I'm writing here demo file 2, then I'm giving R, okay, sorry, A. We want to add in additional information. So I'm putting A, F dot write, I'm writing, now it has more content. Okay, once you're done with the content, what you want to write it, please always close it. Okay, I have closed my file. Now I'll again see by reading this file what it has changed. So I'll write R in order to read the file, and then I say that print f dot read. I'll give the method. Okay, now can you see, now it has more content and also it has been displayed here. Now it has more content. Okay, fine. Here we gave it the different object name. If you give it the same, okay, it's written now it has more content, it's more content. So it's get appending again and again. Rewrite the whole process again by using A. Okay, so hopefully it was clear. What does it do? It just gets append to your text file. Hopefully you understood the difference between W and A. W just deletes the existing file and it stores only the new information which you add to that file. Whereas in A, your existing file will be same as it is. You just have to add if any additional information, you write A. Okay, so here this is a brief summary. X is for create, A is for append, and W is for write. Okay, yeah. Now we can also have a new method. Okay, now in the PyCharm, as you can see, I always go here, do new and do file. If you don't want to do that, there's one more method. Now for example, if I do f dot open, I give another name, output, or something like file name. So I'll put my file dot text, and then I put an X, that is in order to create a file. So let's see what it happens. Okay, now can you see that your file has been created? You don't have to do the long method, do new or go to the file. You just simply have to write my file.text, your file name and your X in order to create your file. So that's the same thing they have been explaining you. Okay, so what's your first exercise? The first exercise here is written as write a Python program to count number of lines in the file. Okay, so we'll code it for that. Now, as you can see, we have demo file. Okay, we'll do it in this. Here, as you can see, 5 lines are there. So your answer should get it as 5. Okay, so we'll delete this whole. We'll put f open demo file R. Next, initially you have to mention it that the number of lines are 0. So that starts from there. So I'll mention a counter object name. I wrote counter is equals to 0. Next, in order to read the content, I put it in the con variable where I write f dot read. read my whole text. So this is what I did. Then in order to read like split, now see how will it differentiate? How will it get to know that the next line has started? For example, in the coding, if you have /n, that is basically used for the next line. So here I can mention it that whenever you see /n, that is your next line, count it that line as 1, 2, 3, and you can go by. Okay, they must know how to count. So for example, here, as soon as after A, there's a space and there's a next line, so they count this is as number 1. They count this is as number 2. So that's how they count it. So for that, I'll put line split. This is my object name, and I'll put that con dot split by what? My /n. So that is the one identity where we can count it. Next, I'll put a loop for I in my line split. If you find I, that is, if you find a space in, please count it. So you have to put counter, object name, counter initially, that is 0 plus 1. So it will iterate it by using 1, 1, 1. It will get add up. You can do this method or either plus equals to 1. So that's what you can do it. Next, you have to print what? The counter. Then only we'll know how many lines are there. So I'll run. See, the answer displayed is 5. So as in the demo file, we have 5 lines. So 5 is the answer. So okay, hopefully the first exercise we have solved. We'll move to the next. Okay, what it is written understood. Write a Python program to write a list content to your file. So they have given a list. What it is? Apple, banana, mango, cherry. Okay, so they are saying that they need this in your Python file, and the whole list should be displayed in your text file from Python coding. Okay, so we'll learn that how to do this. We'll go to PyCharm editor. We can take another py file. So we'll take another py file where I'll write list.py. Okay, here is my list.py. So what is the list they told us to create is, so I'll write my list. This is an object name equals to, in the square bracket, you always have to mention your list. So the first list, it was apple. Next you had was banana. Next you have cherry, and next you have is, we'll see to it. Okay, the third was the mango. Okay, mango. Okay, so here is my list. Now I have to create a new where I'll see my output. So I'll say f open. Okay, I give a name like output dot text, and then you have to write it. Okay, so I'm putting write. Okay, I'll put write. That's done. Okay, now in my list there are 4 things. Okay, there are apple, banana, cherry, and mango. So they are my elements. So I take a loop and I say for each and every element in my list, please write this in what? My text file. So I write for element. I have given name element. You can give I, X, anything, whatever you like. For element in my list, I do that f dot write what? the elements. You have to write all the elements, my apple, banana, mango, cherry. So I write element, and then I want it with a new line. So I write it f dot write slash n. Once it's done, I close my file. So I put f dot close it. Okay, so that's done for this program. So let's see the output. Okay, so here there's not an error. So now we'll see in my output text. Now as soon as we did W, it created an output. We'll open it and see you have your answers in your text file. That is apple, banana, cherry, mango. So hope you understood the whole process, how to write it. It's very easy. It's just a 5 to 6 lines of code and you get the text. Okay, so hopefully you're clear with it and your file handling is done with this. Okay, so bye. Thank you.